Now I'm going to explain about the check for end round function, which is a private function that I created. First of all, we get both mid-right public and mid-left public by using the method getZone from the client controller instance. We get the desired public instance by using the getZone function and insert as an argument the position of the public we want to get its instance. We check to see if both of them are not empty. That means that they both has cards, and if so, we check to see if they both have the same amount of cards in them. And we also check if we're not in time mode. If so, we return true. That means the round is ended. Each public area holds the same amount of cards, and we can end the round. We return false when the public areas are empty or not holding the same amount of cards, or holding the same amount of cards but we are in time mode. That means we cannot end the round yet. As I said before, we leave the other methods untouched. The getPlayer instance returns a new player instance, hence its name. We are going to create a new player instance. The player instance requires the player info, the player's global position, the player's unique ID, a player handler, and the player's layout type. Now all we need to do is to define the player handler, which we will create later on, and the player layout type. We get the layout type from the droppable layout class dot layout type, and in Wargame we want to use the heap layout. Okay, now we are done with the public handler. The only thing that is left to do is to define the player handler. We create a new class which is called player handler, and we implement the player events handler. We add the unimplemented methods. Same here as in the public handler, each method returns a boolean which defines if that action is legal or illegal. In our case, we want to allow the on card added on certain occasions and the on card removed on certain occasions. We also want to allow the on turn end event and the on round end event. So we set the return type to true. On card added function. What we want to do here is we want to allow the logic to add cards to the player's instances, but we don't want to allow a move where a player adds card to another player. We do so by checking the player argument and see if it's not null. If so, we return false, because that means another player performed that action. Otherwise, we hide that card and return true. On card removed function. Here we don't want to allow a player to move cards that aren't his. Therefore, what we want to do is we want to check if the card's owner, get owner, is the same as the player's position. If so, we return true, because we want to allow that move, where a player moves his own cards. Otherwise, we return false. We don't want to allow any player to remove cards from other players. The onCardRevealed function happens when a player revealed a card that him or other player is holding. That never happens at war, therefore we don't touch that function. OnMyTurn function happens when a player ends his turn. Basically that means a player can end his turn. We want to allow that, therefore we return true. The last thing there is to do is to create an info XML file that looks as follows. In the class path we write the path of our class. And that's it. Now we're ready to export our project into a jar file. After we exported our project into jar file, we need to convert it into DEX file. What we want to do is we want to go to the Platform Tools directory under the Android SDK and insert this command line where the output is the destination of the new file we want to create with the extension .jar, and the path source is the complete path of the source file.